One time I was in an incident at a fight at Safford, and we ended up in the county jail, and so the disciplinary hearing officer does his rounds among prisons in the state there. He came that day, and he asked the name.
For us Canadians or British Columbians or Albertans, that U.S. Constitution will work if we're in the States, but it won't work if we can't.
Well, you got a constitution up there too the government's bound by.
Same sort of.
I can tell you right now, that Constitution didn't provide for taking the people. You're not a party to it. So why would you be bound by it anyway? There's nothing in their Constitution give them a right to grab you up. Nothing. They don't have that authority unless you're a citizen.
Right. Unless you admit to being their citizen.
Unless you admit to being their property. Or you open a pecuniary account, they can lodge damages. Give them your name.
It's still possible.
Argue with them.
Like you studied that, it's worth us learning it.
Your Constitution won't be very long. It's not a long document. It's just real basic.
Yeah.
It's what you call the Articles of Incorporation for that company, called the federal government, the Canadian government. It's a federal government. Federal is defined as of or by compact, an agreement. The states agreed to form that entity, kind of like an NFL commissioner. You know, there's an NFL that negotiates, and all those teams said, hey, you negotiate the TV rights when we got to play, those certain powers they gave them. But down here, who we're going to play with, how we're going to train, which guy's going to get paid what, you can do the salary cap. We'll decide who gets the most salary, who gets what in our thing. Because it was the team members who gave that authority to them. What you don't know is a delegated power is not a surrendered power. States didn't give the feds a damn thing. They delegated them 17 enumerated powers. They didn't surrender them. So that's why state of Nevada can have legal prostitution. State of California can have legal marijuana, medical marijuana.
Is that against the U.S. code?
It's a violation of United States laws, i.e., D.C. It's not legal in any other state like it is in California. There could be some other medical marijuana states that I'm not familiar with, but nonetheless, it's legal in the state of California. Prostitution, to my knowledge, is not legal in any other state but Nevada. Some states don't have any income tax, some have income. They're countries. They can do all sorts of things. And the federal government can't tell them what to do. That's a fact. Those attorney general stuff, they know the rules. So this is a good exercise for you. Don't just talk to them one at a time. You don't got to worry about it. You're the king or the queen. Relax. The worst they're going to do is hold you for a few days. They're going to have to bring you in front of a magistrate. He's not like these crazy police officers yelling and howling and onion packs. You know, sir, we need to get your name. And why do you need my name? Who are you? I'm Magistrate Judge Smith. Or Magistrate Smith. Do you have a bona fide claim against me, Magistrate Smith? He might just look at you, jerk you. Do you know anyone else here having a bona fide claim against me? He might stay silent. Let the record show there's nobody here having a bona fide claim. This concludes my business. Have a great day. I'm out.
Hey, honey boy, get back here.
I'm walking.
Honey boy, hey, get back here.
He had his chance. Latch has come in. Judge will do that too. He'll just bolt from the courtroom. Turn and I'm gone.
Well, he's silent, right?
Because if he's silent, he agreed. Do you have a bona fide claim against me? Do you know anyone here who has a bona fide claim? He might say, maybe the prosecutor. Who's the prosecutor? Yep. Do you have a bona fide claim against me? The people of the state of Arizona. Where's the people of the state of Arizona? Well, I represent them. Do you have a bona fide claim against me? What's your bar number? What's your name and bar number? You an attorney? What's your name and bar number? Boom, boom. Let the record show that Attorney Smith, bar number so-and-so, is converted on all liability as surety for the defendant, or accepts all liability for the defendant, or is for full assessment of the charges. That's an offer to him. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. It's a fact. But you'd be surprised with that bona fide claim. You'll get where you can get to this. They don't have things. Now, if you have one against me, you know what I'm saying? You know everybody here has one? Let the record show that no one have a claim here against me. This concludes my business. Good day. And I'm waiting for the judge to say something. What did my actions just say?
We're done.
Well, if I turn and walk away, I'm done. But what if I sit here and look at the judge and wait for him to give me the green light I can go?
It's an offer.
Kind of not a good thing, is it? If I got cuffs on me, I'm going to say, bailiff, I request that the magistrate, I request you ask the bailiff to remove these cuffs immediately. There being no one here having a bona fide claim against me. You know, the bailiff, get over here. I'm requesting you come over here and remove these cuffs. There being no one here having a bona fide claim against me. If I'm walking out and the marshal step in front of me, do you have a bona fide claim against me? Step aside.
At that time, you can get...
I hear that you'll be walking out, they'll step in front of you, you just keep walking, at the last moment they'll move aside. That's what I heard. Couldn't tell you.
But at that point, you gave them an order. That's after all the claims have been closed.
I said, you got a bona fide, if they're going to block my way. Do you have a bona fide claim against me? Any of you here have it? Step aside, gentlemen. If not, I'm going to start offering out offers. Magistrate Smith, I'm requesting you order these gentlemen to step aside, as there being nobody here having a bona fide claim against me. And if you'd want to just leave them stand here, then the price is $1 million United States dollars. This is your courtroom, Magistrate Smith, and therefore I hold you personally responsible to the tune of $1 million, personally.
Pretty good.
It's an offer. Just ask these guys to step aside, please.
Officers. That's
Thank you, Magistrate Smith. Good day, gentlemen. Forgive me any offense I may have given any of you. I'm gone.
Next case.
Yeah, let's have another one.
Let me tell you this. Before you get into court, they're going to have known who you are by how you acted in the police station. And they're not going to have a bunch of riffraff in there seeing this party and this show going, especially depending on your confidence level. All right? Just like mine. There wasn't nobody at that. At the first hearing, they had two things going on. Set mine for 11, call it like 10:30 when I came. There'd already been stuff going on probably since 9 o'clock. And so when they got done with those, the judge just said, "Is Gordon Hall in the courtroom?" That's when I stood up and said my thing. They didn't even call a case number. So this is going to be a lot of fun for you. Somebody tries to take your kids. Those children belong to me. I'm the mother, and nobody else has. Nobody else. I have the bona fide claim to these children. I am their mother. Well, we're taking them away. I conditionally accept your offer upon presentation of a bona fide claim. They don't have one, and if they're going to take it, it's going to cost them dearly. And you'll get a hold. And as you learn this, you'll be able to make a claim, put it in. Proper claim. Someone's got to give you a charging instrument, some kind of something. You can't just do what they will, and they don't. Somebody's going to give you some kind of paper, something to deal with this stuff. Give it back. Except in a case like that, we're going to give it back and demand and go in and make a claim.
How cocky can you get at the border when you say we're coming?
I wouldn't get cocky at all ever with anyone on any basis. Would God have you get cocky with anybody?
Yeah. So
I told you, if you don't go low, you ain't getting high.
So when they are asking you questions, just answer.
I didn't say that, did I?
Well, that's kind of what I mean. You know, the guys,
I came through the border check. I've come through the border check between Arizona and California many times. It's rather interesting. I think, I don't know which one you were with me on.
Well,
you have
just
a border check?
Yeah, nothing happened when we were with you. I think they know you well enough.
No, they don't. I come through. They don't know who I am. I come through there, One time the guy goes, where are you coming from? I says, why do you want to know? He says, I just want to know if you have some fruit or vegetables. Because that border thing says agricultural check. I said, would it be all right if I told you I didn't have any fruit or vegetables? He says, have a nice day. Another time I came through, he says, where are you coming from? I said, what if I told you I came from back there? He says, have a nice day.
Of course, it's weekend.
A lot of times they never ask.
So,
You know,
You don't need to try it, Evan.
I'd like to know, why do you want to know?
you gotta try it.
When I was down when I came through, the guy says I got this piece of paper that he wanted to see. And then he's going, well, what else is in the folder?
Why do you want to know?
Personal stuff.
You answered the question, door 4. Why do you want to know?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to get through there, to get here, is all I wanted to do.
This is part of the problem. We
Yeah.
all just want to give up Ben Franklin. Any society
I learned
willing
what
to
I
give
could
up
say.
a little liberty
Right.
to gain a little security will deserve neither and lose both.
Mm.
I know you wanted to get here.
To learn what to say.
I
to
know
you.
I wanted to go there. I got things to do. I don't want to be late. Well, what is the price of freedom? You want to hold me, then I guess you better make it worth your time, huh? Am I under arrest? Do you have a lawful reason to preclude me from going through here? I just want to know what you have in there. I tell you what, I'd be happy to show you what's in here. The price would be $10,000. Would you like to know what's in here?
Agreed.
So, sort of tangential question, but like there was a guy I was doing business with who he verbally promised me some money. He's got a limited liability company, so I guess lawyers make an agreement that they won't hold owners of these companies liable for debt or something, right? Or,
What do I care what they do?
but I mean, that's what in our society.
What
people
care
have a
I the
false-
Zimmer law? Go on.
Right. So people have a sense of because of the agreements that attorneys make, people have a sense of how things work, limited liability and all these things.
In that world, that's right.
Right.
In our world, there's no limited liability, folks. It's unlimited.
Yeah.
Not a good day. You want to come in here? I'll be happy to show you what's in here for 10 grand. I need your name. Yeah, I know you're coming into the States, so you can handle it. You're over here to this thing. You're headed back. As you start getting it better and better, you might have a little. By what authority are you precluding me from coming in? Is there a law that says if I don't answer what's in a clear blue folder that I can be precluded from coming in? I I'll get the guy's name. We're going to start it up. We'll get his bosses. It just depends on if you want to start that fight up. With the chess set and the warden, I just so happened to decide I wanted to do that one. With Walmart, I just so happened I wanted to do that one. Will I do Chase Bank? Probably not. I got her card and the rest of that. I got things to do.
And even if you can't get that guy's name, you can threaten to charge his boss.
That's
and he's
right.
not
I'll
gonna
find
want
it in
that.
front of that border, get the rest of that. You can either give me the name of the person that violated my rights there, or I'm going to hold you personally responsible because they're under your thing. He had a badge number 592. I'm requesting you either produce the name or be held accountable personally. He agreed to pay me 10 grand for this, and I intend to collect. Therefore, either produce the name or you're personally responsible. The guy says, well, part of these guys with LLC. A verbal agreement? Pfft. Verbal agreement is as rock solid as a written one because I can firm it up. And a paper written one's still going to require an administrative procedure on your part to firm it up. Right? You're just adding it as a piece of evidence for him, and he's not likely to refute it. But if he had any smarts, he could refute it as easily as though no one ever existed. He can do that easily. What I'm telling you is, it doesn't make any difference. I went and saw an architect one time. He did $250,000 worth of business for a guy with the WNBA, Women's Basketball National Association, whatever. And this dude didn't want to pay him $250,000. I said, "What'd he tell you?" He said, "Well, you go pay your attorney $40,000. I'll go pay mine $40,000. I'll see you in 5 years." I said, "Well, give me $4,000. I'll have you a judgment against him in 35 days." He didn't want to do it. I said, "Well, then don't worry about it. 1/10 the cost.
Yeah.
35 days, you'll have a judgment against a yak." Okay, your prerogative. It's like my medical marijuana guy. He didn't mind sending the DEA something, the Department of Justice something, because he doesn't feel like that's going to cause him any real grief, but he don't want to send it to the agents personally. Okay? I said, "How well do you think I'd have done if I'd have been left the warden out of the deal? Look what I benefit from it. I'm in a prison. I'm messing with the warden. He's worried everybody's going to come back over." He says, my store's just getting back together because they trashed his store. He said, I'm going to be back in business." Okay. Do your thing. The reason most people don't succeed in this is because they don't have faith in their Father in heaven. He sent his servants, the government, to do things. They don't look at it that way, but don't ask me why. They just always do it right. When you get it right, they do it right. You can't be afraid. Hey, say a little prayer. Why do you think? I told you, I said a little prayer to God. I always do. What do you think's going to carry the day and put words in your mouth from your studies? Have faith in your God. He's there for you. And he's not just going to give it to you. He's going to reward you with it. So study hard. And get some stuff and work on it. You'll have a little fun with it. Some will be animated. You can always back off. And show them what's in the notebook if you, but you can have fun for 60 minutes or 60 seconds to 2-3 minutes. Well, what do you want? May I see your supervisor, please? What do you want to see him for? Are you precluding me from coming in because I won't show you what's in the notebook? I'd like to see your supervisor. Clog up the line, we'll take a little time, have a little fun. He's the one that's going to look bad. I got time for 5 minutes of play. Not going to prejudice yourself. Huh?
Another 5 minutes ain't going to hurt.
You got a little time for some playtime, don't you?
I do now.
Yeah. You're going to have fun going back. What were you doing in the United States? Well, why do you want to know? What would you just like to know? And if I don't tell you, what? You just tell me what you're there for. And by what authority am I required to tell you anything? Are you refusing me my right to enter into my country? And by what authority do you do that? I just be gone. Mister, have a little fun. You're not going to stop. You can produce all your stuff later. Well, sir, pull over. I'd be happy to pull over for 10 grand. Or am I under arrest? Well, no. But you might be. Well, if I'm not under arrest, then open the gate. I'm gone. I got things to do. And if you want me to pull over here and talk to you, my time is very valuable, officer. And the fee for doing that is just an initial $10,000. If it goes much past like 5 minutes, then it jumps to 25 grand. And if it's like more than a half an hour, then it's $1 million. And that would be to you personally and your boss and the Canadian Border Patrol Incorporated or whatever it is. What would you like to do? Oh, a smart guy, huh? Move your ass over there, sir. Got to be 10 grand in advance. I told you get your ass over there. Would it be all right if I went over there to conclude our $10,000 agreement? Yeah, I need some identification. May I see a card or identification? I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to push and see and press and this and that.
We're not there yet.
No, but as you start practicing a little here, a little there,
Yeah.
then you're going to say, let's go have a little fun. You got a couple of you with you. That one can do that and he can do it. And you say, well, who are you? So what do you want to know? Oh, we got two smart asses here. Are you calling me names, officer? Are you trying to provoke me? Just calm and gentle and quiet. Are you attempting to provoke me, officer? We'll taser your ass and drag you out for $1 million Canadian dollars. I accept. Prepaid in advance. And I'm going to need another $10 million for any damage or anything that might happen, like any scrape on the elbow if I fall down or anything like that. So on that basis, pay me the money and let's get started. Just have a little fun.
Here, you want?
Let's have a practice.
How long do you think it's going to take people when they start getting this and doing it really and gently and nicely, that we start hogging up, closing up border patrols, packing lines up, people getting pissed, and of course the slaves are going to be just angry as hell by the time they get up there, and they'll give them all the fighting and arguing they want, give them a belly full. The frick's wrong with you people? Why this line? We need to get in here, and you guys are with that guy. He's going to be tired of explaining things. Just let these idiots through.
I think eventually they want to open the borders all up anyway. And make a one world.
They have no right to do the borders, but I mean, neither here nor there. But if someone doesn't know how to assert their rights,
What about the reverse, Canadian coming into the state?
well, you have to weigh that. You're trying to get over here for something, you know, and can they refuse? They can give you a little static, this and that. So, but nothing wrong with it. So why do you want to know what's in a notebook? Are you suggesting that if I don't show you what's in the notebook, you'll preclude me from coming across the border when I'm legally and lawfully entitled to do such? Is there something in the law that says I've got to tell you what's inside a notebook full of paper? Yeah, there is, son. What law is that, officer? It's just the law. I conditionally accept upon giving me the law. I accept your offer upon presentation of the bona fide law that says such. I don't have to let you in. I conditionally accept your offer to deny me access based on whatever you might want to say, upon a lawful claim to deny a Canadian access to the United States when nothing has been. You'll come up with some kind of a neat conditional acceptance, but try them out a little. Why? Just try the why all the time. They've been getting you and pushing us all around, getting us to answer questions all these years. Just start pushing back a little bit. Not hard, very humbly. You got to start learning to be humble. Always humble. Because you are required to be the sovereign.
But wouldn't that get you a lot of grief trying to come into the United States?
I don't know. Why don't you try it? You don't know.
I'm not sure I want to try it like that.
No, it's next to stem.
It might make it very difficult for you to get back in again.
They can't prevent you going back home, but for you coming back in the U.S.
They
it might be a
can't,
little bit.
make it difficult because you asked why.
No, but they can accuse. They can. I mean, who's to say it's just me and him at the border, and so they can say I was obstructionist, I was anything, and not let me in. And isn't the burden of proof on me to?
Well, if you want to deny me access because it's a personal deal, then it'd be $10,000. How much do you want to be denied access? I don't care if you're Canadian or American. I'll have a lien against you. We'll see how you like it. How much do I got to pay you not to come to this seminar, Pat? I think 50 G's would do it. Pick it up on another one, wouldn't you?
It just seems like I wouldn't be able to get into the States for a very long time.
No, on what basis? Because I asked some questions.
The lien is a 3-day lien anyway.
What?
If you bring the lien to bear, it's another 3-day.
The lien to bear?
You said you want to put a lien on the guy.
Well, I'm going to do my administrative remedy, which will give me a claim, which will eventually show up on a UCC filing. Since that's a border crossing, I don't know what state's bordering that. I'll probably presume he's at what state borders that you're going across?
British Columbia?
Washington, D.C., Washington, British Columbia.
Yeah, but what's on our side? Washington?
Washington.
So, you know, if you want to prejudice me going across for not to be $50,000 and may incur a personal liability of $50,000 and a filing of said claim on a UCC with Secretary of State Washington. I got his permission to do it, like I got the warden's. When I went to him and said about the deal with the chess set, he says, go see the captain. I just got done telling him. I talked to the captain and the associate warden and the lieutenant and all that. He said, go see the captain. I says, that your final answer? He says, yes. I says, and you won't mind if I seek formal resolution, will you? He said, no, not at all. I said, thank you. Went back, started writing him hello, how are you letters. 3 of them. Then we went on from there. Pretty soon it was on his record. Now it was a problem. He never thought somebody could do it. All it takes is a few of these and a few brother officers with a lien on them. How long do you think before they're going to say, screw this, we're not messing with these people anymore?
So
They're worse than attorneys.
Has he decided to become one of your students yet?
I doubt it. He got kicked upstairs to Washington, justifiably so. He's a very talented warden. If I had a prison, he's the guy I want. Big guy. I like
You
him.
say he got kicked upstairs. He got
When I say
promoted?
he got promoted later, he was an excellent warden. Oh, a disciplinarian. You know, that prison had 5 wardens in 5 years. Fractured staff, problems there. This guy came in and scared the hell out of the inmates and scared the hell out of the staff. He was a monster. Dapper dressed guy. And just a consummate warden. I like the guy. I said, man, we're going to get into it. I wrote letters on my family. I said, man, this guy's a disciplinarian. He's tough. I said, we're for sure going to get into it. And I was looking forward to it. I didn't know why. It was silly me, you know. With that attitude, let's rock.
When I signed my thing there,
Right?
right before I went to go up to talk to him, I threw that UCC 1-308 there. And then he asked me where I was going. So going down to take a contract law seminar. Contract law seminar? Does that interest you? I said, yeah, very much. It's like he didn't like that. Well, you're going to learn about stuff we know about?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, all about contract law. It's all
I think
contracts.
he took notice to that little UCC one.
Yeah. You're reserving all your rights. I presume that's your UCC code there?
Yeah. Well, that's UCC code is all our codes, huh?
Well, the UCC here is the United States' version of contract law,
PSA is ours.
commercial law.
Yeah, but that
I don't know if
Uniform
Canada
Commercial
has the
Code
same
is
UCC.
worldwide.
Yeah, but every country has their own version of it. They don't use the same acronym or numbers,
Oh, really? Okay.
not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I thought we were
PSA.
basically the same.
I think ours is 1-207. You're
207, that's what they-
1308.
308 used to be.
Yeah. 1207 is all rights and defenses reserved. That one is probably what yours
Well, the new
1308
one
is.
I think is 308. And,
Okay.
They're kind of, you can put both
Well, if it was
down.
once 207, it's now 308, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've heard somebody talk about different types of signatures, like authorized by, or maybe you leave out authorized as implied, you put by, and then your name, sign your name, or you can put your name, comma, authorized representative, and that those are 2 completely different signatures. I didn't understand the difference between.
I usually just sign Gordon Leroy Hall, comma, either agent or authorized representative. You've unambiguously indicated your agency status or some status. In America, and in American law, if you sign a check and you don't indicate unambiguously some status there, vice president, representative, agent, something, and the check goes bad, they can come sue you. So if I worked for McDonald's Corporation and McDonald's didn't cover the check, they could sue me personally for signing it. If I did not put like comma, agent, authorized rep, CFO, president, vice president, some kind of unambiguous indication of my status. All right? That's just the law in America. And I don't doubt it's identical everywhere. And I don't ever abbreviate AR. Abbreviations in law are not good.
I'm not writing down authorized representative. Half the time there's no room.
That's right, so I usually write agent. Keep it short and sweet.
Agent?
So you wouldn't do
Combination.
AR? Okay.
No, I definitely wouldn't do AR.
So you're saying sign that all your checks with agent?
I sign all my personal checks. Gordon Leroy Hall, agent.
Because it's always has that little line.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to unambiguously indicate my agency status, or else I'm going to be personally liable on that check. I don't like to give my personal signature on anything, so I do it in agency status or whatever. However,
You're an
on
agent for
on acceptance for value thing, I'll put it because I want them to access my exemption. It's about the only place I do it.
So you're an agent for your vessel, but your vessel might
I'm
be
an
liable.
agent for Gordon Hall. Yeah.
Your vessel might be liable if you give somebody a bad check or something.
Well, it's going to mess his credit area up, so I'm taking, want to make sure he doesn't get jacked up on it because I keep his credit good,
Like one time, Brandon said, "Well, you're always an agent when you sign because you can't appear in commerce except through your vessel or something." I don't know. So it's just
Well, I might differ with that, and I'll keep mine the way it is because I understand some other business law. I've owned a lot of businesses, been around the block, and I understand lots of court cases and things that say unambiguously indicating your status. And so does the UCC code indicate that. That's 3603 if we have pulled up on internet, UCC 3603.
Can't pull it up.
Okay, that's all right. So
3603 then?
correct.
Type it in here.
Gordon, can you comment on commercial liens? I'm somewhat confused about them. I don't know when to use them, what value they are. Somebody suggests that you can...
Commercial lien. What's commercial? Buying and selling and trading of commodities. What's a commodity? Anything of value or use. A commercial lien is nothing more than what I did with the warden. I did my 3-part process with him. He agreed to pay $40,000, and then I put a notice of that with the UCC division. I filed what's known as a UCC-1 financing statement with the Secretary of State, California UCC division. Go right online and fill them out.
But I understand that, for example, you wanted to put a commercial lien on your house, like first in time, first in line. That's not necessarily a good thing to do because you can't really take a lien off, commercial lien off once you put it on.
Sure you can.
Oh.
Who owns the lien? They can cancel it anytime they want.
How long's it been good for if you do that?
Until it's taken
Definitely.
off. If I had my own home, I might put a commercial lien on it from ABC Corporation, the corporation I wholly own over here, or the Hall Trust, or whatever I want to put, and I might put a $500,000 lien on it. If I had a lot of equity in it, I'd put a lien on it, so somebody else couldn't lien it up or get that equity. And if they got a judgment against Gordon Hall, they're going to be behind, of course, the property taxes with the county, and then the first trustee will be there. I might have a second, it'll be me, and then, or that company I designated, and then it would come to, I wouldn't want it to be me, because someone gets a judgment against me, they're going to want to own that judgment that I have, or that lien I have against the property. So I just use a different entity. That's all.
When you're asserting a claim, and you're stating that you're a secured party and creditor, you're making that claim, essentially, even though there's no security agreement in place, and the paperwork's done in the private. But
Security agreement in place. I say there is a $500 million lien against Gordon Hall. What do you say? If I don't happen to have a record of memorial, what's that got to do with anything? I say there is one. You say there isn't. Who do you think's going to win out? I did a security agreement and all that UCC stuff, forever ago. I don't even bother with it. It doesn't even matter to me. It's all commercial law. It doesn't matter what you did then anyway. I'm coming in. You having a lien against a straw man doesn't preclude anybody else from having a lien against him, right?
What about the first in line rule?
Okay.
Well, if I'm a utility company, why would I want to provide utilities for someone who has $1 billion lien against their?
If I pay the deposit, you're going to sell me the stuff.
Yeah, if you pay in advance or something. But I
No,
mean,
they don't care. They don't. All they're going to do is a credit check. If the credit's okay, they'll give it without any deposit. If your credit's not good, they'll get 1 or 2 months security deposit, whatever the average bill is, even if you've had bad credit. And all you are is then you've got a utility company selling Gordon Hall utilities. Even with bad credit, don't matter. With $1 billion judgment, don't matter. They don't care. Now, a credit card company isn't apt to give you a credit card with that outstanding. But a utility company all day long, phone company all day long.
well, when someone copyrights their name, if I'm a utility company, I can't do business with them without harming the company, right?
Well, you got to let me know. Utility company. That's why if you do copyright your name, don't you want to be a little, didn't you, when you applied for utilities, in a sense, give permission to use it? Now, if you left the copyright symbol off of it, in all likelihood, they'll just give you utilities and no muss. You put the copyright symbol on there, they may decide not to do business with you until you give permission that they can use the name for billing purposes, to include but not limited to suing for any deficit on the account. Otherwise, why would we do it?
They do business with McDonald's, and McDonald's has a copyright.
Right, but they're not worried about it. I mean, that's why when I was in prison, I didn't tell commissary I got, the name's copyrighted. I'm not going to make an issue of it because I don't want my commissary account cut off, potentially, or something else happening where I'm like stuck in no man's land in there, not able to use the name because they don't want to use it because of something. So you got to be a little attuned to what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing.
When you lien someone, like after the third notice, how many days after the third notice would you put it on a UCC financing statement?
Not one day.
One day. Okay.
Like
So that's
as fast as you
35
want to
days.
do it.
And then do you have to give public notice of your third statement? Do you have to file that?
I just file a notice with UCC1 financing statement in box 8. I'll make mention of the agreement between the parties. Contact me for any further stuff. Put all the appropriate stuff, and she's filed. And the credit reporting agencies will pick it up off there.
So in our
So you have a private lien, and you give public notice to the UCC financing statement.
I'm going to give notice of my lien against somebody. I'm not going to file my documents onto the UCC1 financing statement. I don't make those public. I make notice of my lien public.
And the lien is a document, or it's
A lien is a claim on the property of another as security for the payment of a just debt. Notice of a lien on the property. Notice of a claim on the property of another.
you have evidence of your lien in an original document.
Right,
That
and I
you
put
can just
on-
hold on. You don't have to have a certified copy with the county recorder necessarily.
Not at all.
So in our case, would it be the PTSA or?
I'm not sure who Canada uses. We have a county recorder here in the various counties for liens on real estate. The UCC at the Secretary of State's office, which is a UCC division, is where we make public notice for statewide for things that are non-real estate. Leases on cars, equipment, commercial liens, that kind of thing.
But if you do file these state UCC1 financing statements, if you don't know what you're doing, you better have some kind of lien.
Remember, a lien is a claim on
They're
the
not
property of another who's
displaced
paying
debt.
for a just debt. How was the payment just? I did a due process, didn't I?
Yeah.
Makes it just.
And do you use notaries for certifying your signature and things? Or just
On an
your-
affidavit I do, and that's it. I don't need it for
Oh,
all
an
the private
affidavit.
stuff. Nah. All that stuff I did with the warden, I didn't once use a notary.
But the 1, 2, 3, is that affidavit format with a notary? No.
Nah, when I'm doing the criminal deals with like John Stewart and these others, we put our constructive notice, private international remedy. We conditionally accept the indictment, and we put an affidavit of negative affirmation in support of it. of the facts.
With a notary for the affidavit.
And the signature is notarized on the affidavit. Yes. I don't use notarized certificates of service and notary presentments and that kind of stuff. I don't need to. I know how to enforce the claim without going through all those machinations.
As long as they write back to you.
Or don't write back. I don't care which they do.
Now, what do you do when they give you a warning and they let you go?
Who gives you a warning?
So you're going through the border, and they say, okay, we're giving you a warning today, Mr. Bai. You're free to go.
A warning about what?
I don't know. But they just give me a warning.
Okay, great. I've been warned.
What is a
Have a
warning?
nice day.
But what is a warning?
A warning of what? We're giving you a warning. You're warning me about what? Is there frogs in the road up ahead? Is there
Well,
glass in the
maybe
road?
that's the question. Okay.
You know, is there an auto accident? Huh?
Okay. I'll ask that question then.
Oh.
He says we're giving you a warning. He's told you that before?
5 times, 6 times, 7
What are
times.
you warning me about? Don't you want to know what he's warning you about?
No, he just said you're free to go. And I said, okay, thank you.
But he says I'm warning you, right?
Yeah.
What are you warning me about, officer?
Is there frogs?
Is that all he says
That's
to
the
you?
next question to ask, yeah.
Why don't you ask him?
Well, I will ask him.
Albert,
Yeah.
is that all he says to you?
Do you think he's going to get mad for you?
And he says,
He
I'm
looks
giving
at your
you a warning.
passport. I'm going to give you a warning, sir. Have a nice day.
That's the warning. Have a nice day.
You know, are you warning me about a danger or something? Well, you've come through here 3 times in a month, sir, so I'm just warning you. And what are you warning me about? Well, I don't want you bringing drugs through. Well, okay. Why didn't you say so?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to know what you're warning me about. Are you giving me a friendly warning like the road's slick ahead, the road's washed out? Are you warning me I shouldn't be coming through? Are you warning me there's going to be a nuclear holocaust in America? I shouldn't go? Well, I mean, what? Ask the guy. That's why you want to learn to ask questions. Don't just do the male thing, I call it. You know, men are notorious for sitting here going, I say a word, and they just go, I understand. And they don't even know what I said. You know, they're with their girl, and they say, yeah, it's around here somewhere. Well, we'll find it. Don't worry. Well, look, can we just pull over? Hell no, we'll find it, honey. Don't worry. 2 states later, you know.
Or rebellion. Where?
So is there any real purpose to trademarking your name?
Yeah, there's some use in it. I did mine, and one of the things I used to get a written agreement with the IRS, I did use that. It seemed to be rather effective. Was it that or some of the other stuff I wrote? Can't tell you. I wouldn't worry about it. You want my name? Well, my name is private property, and I want $500,000. I get a $500,000 user fee for its unauthorized use. Would you like it? What's your name, sir? Well, my name is private property, and I get a $500,000 for its unauthorized use. So if you'd like it, it's $500,000. Would you like it? Police officer asks you. That's a fair one.
Yeah.
Do I need a copyright? No, not at all. I just made an offer. That's what I like about this contract stuff. None of that stuff in the past paperwork don't mean anything. Who's Gordon Hall? I can't tell you. Might be a vessel I ride around on. Does it identify this body? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on if I feel like letting it identify it. Because it sure ain't the same body that was on that birth certificate. 10 pounds and 13 inches long or whatever it is. Right? So, that's what I love about people. You're not the same guy you were 30 seconds ago. A hair fell out of cell, dude. That's why you're the only one that can identify you. That isn't what it really is. You're the spirit in there. They need someone to step up and be the surety. God told you, don't be a surety for a stranger. They're asking about Dan or Gordon or Donnie or Tommy or something. Those are words. Where do you live? Why do you want to know? Well, I want to send you a check because you won the lottery. You can find me at 1837 G Street, Phoenix, Arizona, 85553. In that case, like I did to the guy at the compound, in that case, I'm Gordon Hall. If he'd have sprung some indictments or something else on, I didn't agree to be Gordon Hall. I had agreed to be it for these 3 duffel bags full of property. Right? Why do you want to know? I got a check for Gordon Hall. What kind of check? Well, a lottery check. He won $1 million. In that case, I'm Gordon Hall. Aha! Here's an arrest warrant. So what? I accept it for value and honor, return for value and honor. You said you're Gordon Hall. Did I not say in the case of a receipt of $1 million lottery check, I would take that? When did I say it? Did I not say blah, blah, blah? No, I mean, I don't care what he says. Let's see if he can book me. He ain't going to book me and get me in front of a magistrate or anything else and lawfully charge me. Not happening.
Coming together, baby.
Yeah, it'll take a little getting used to and some practice and being with some friends and seeing some of it work on a little basis, and you'll get into it. But you all held up really good. All it takes is you come together, have a few sessions with this.
Yeah.
Look at you guys. You guys were great cops. I can't do any better than that. Same with the judge. You guys are great cops.
Sounds like they've been around.
You're a hammer. All the people that do, you really fall into being great cops. So you can do this you really can do it on your own. Somebody jerking, I'm a little rough on them legs to disconcert you.
Yeah.
It kind of throws you into a little kind of a little limbo. And now that you know that that's some of the things they do, you just you want to do one of these ones, eh? Okay. You've been there, done that, man. All the angst is out of it. You're expecting that trick.
Yeah.
And just be attuned for many more. Who's the president? Do you know what day it is? Is it light or dark out? What are you, stupid, man? No. Why do you want to know? Or simply, do you have a bona fide claim against me? I don't care all these questions. The issue is you got a bona fide claim against me. You've been charged with the gun. Do you have a bona fide claim against me? Yeah, I do. May I see it? Produce it. Or it's agreed no such thing exists. Well, just as soon as we get your picture up, we're going to show it to you. We're going to... I conditionally accept your offer upon presentation of a bona fide claim. Failure to do so is blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want it to be. Counter the offer. There's a lot of stuff you can stick on. Just keep them questions coming. Don't give the picture and don't give the prints.
What if we start low? You take my picture for $5. $5 you take my picture.
He might give it to you.
Yeah, okay. So
He's not gonna, but
Yeah, no, I just want $5.
we need to take your picture. I'm happy to let you do it, but I guess it's my image and I charge for that. I get $100,000 for giving that picture in these kinds of deals. You got the money. I conditionally accept your offer upon prepayment of $100,000. Are you nuts? Would you like my picture? Yes or no? I get $100,000 for it.
Can you tell I'm a supermodel?
Can't you tell I'm a supermodel? That you are. Make no mistake, you're a supermodel. That's a fact way above the average model, bud. You're a supermodel. Model of perfection coming your way. Hello. How are you? Are you sure? Ma'am, you're going to give us your name and stuff, or we're going to do this. You got a bona fide claim against me. Look, we're getting tired of talking to you. It's like the judge said in that 11-pager to Bruce Mrusick. I'm only getting you. If you don't respond to my question, I'm going to take you into custody as being in contempt. So he asked a question. He says, I'm here today. Is that not a response? And that was all he wanted, just a response. But it sounded like if he didn't say, if you answer that way one more time, as Bruce Mrusick, I'm going to take you. No, he just said, if you don't respond to my question, I'm going to take you into custody as being in contempt. So Bruce responded. I'm here today as Bruce Mrusick, because they closed in on me. He said, I shut my eyes, Gordon, and just repeated it again. And it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's so crafty, though. You think
you thought, you have to listen. And this is where you got to just take a little breath and relax. To get over here and hammer. You guys were good cops, hammer, because that's exactly what they're going to do. I've had it happen like a half a dozen or more times. It's great. You know, I'm kind of used to it, so they can't do much with me anymore. I'm like, but you need some practice at it. You got some today, and you got to see it happen. And that's really a cool thing, because it really is getting you ready for it. And the big one is, I just put that head down. It's the only picture they had for me. The new guards on that floor come up and go, "What is this?" I said, "That's what you get when you don't have to give a picture or some other thing." He says, "Why don't you got to give one?" I says, "Why don't you ask the captain?" I said, "It's the law." And I'd be training them and talking to these CEOs all the time. They go, "Man, I can't believe this stuff." I says, "You know it's true. You're holding a picture." He says, "Yeah, we saw that one, like for 2 weeks they had the one with down there on the door, but all the staff would, like twice a week come and they just laughing and pointing. They couldn't take it anymore. They had to take it down and put the other one that was like this up. It was too good." And for a while they had it on the floor. He said, "Man, what the hell kind of picture is that?" I said, "Ain't it great? It's a non-picture. That's what it is, boys." "Why do you do that?" I said, "Why would I want to give my picture?" "Well, there's nothing wrong with that." I said, "You don't think that isn't a transaction of a security interest?" Security interest is not in these books, in my little Webster's Law, when it says security interest, a lien on personal property created by an agreement. Remember what we said in agreement or contract or agreement, right? You give the picture, you just created an agreement and a lien on this piece of property, your vessel. That's why I don't give a picture. If the judge sees this picture straight up and looking with eyes open, that was voluntary. I had somewhere, I got 2 marshals' hands. This is the picture, with 2 marshals holding on to my face. They didn't care. And they got a little rough. They didn't like it.
So you said that you don't give a picture because that constitutes a security agreement?
Constitutes a transaction of a security interest. Security interest is defined in the little law of Webster's, I like it, a lien on personal property created by an agreement.
That's for the traffic ticket, security interest. Security interest.
It's a contract, that's right.
It's even a good question at the cop pulling you over.
And he'll tell you, "No, that's no contract."
Are you offering me a security interest?
A lot of them, they said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what are you offering me to trade for it then?" They'd say, "How about an extra meal?" Like when you're in the hole, that extra meal has some meaning. It was really strange sometimes. God, it was so strange about how I got extra meals. It's just crazy. I'm telling you, God watches out for you. He really does. They used to give these brown bag lunches, breakfasts. And I go take some of the stuff out. And I go to the door and I said, "Hey, what if I told you there was no pastry in this bag?" And they go, "Get me a pastry." I didn't say there wasn't one. I said, "What if I told you there was no pastry in this bag?" I have the pastry stashed over there. I said, "God, this is too good." I never had to lie. I just said, "What if I told you there's no pastry in this bag?" And they go, "Get me a pastry." It was so good. Man, I just loved it. I was trying all sorts of great stuff all the time. It's not any fun being there, but while you're there, you might as well entertain yourself.
You have to.
Yeah, I'm testing all the time, and I need a dictionary the most because I just love looking up words and meaning them. In any dictionary, they just have such great meanings. Food and energy and light and dark, and I'm just looking up all sorts of words. Metabolism and bones and milk and food, just meanings of words. I never understood what they meant. And any law words I can, honor, dishonor, country, nation. I look up all the standard words that I use: honor, dishonor, claim, impose, all sorts of ones that I've always looked up. So, and if you all have friends you go into jail, then have one of your buddies send you in a dictionary, some paperback dictionaries. And make sure, man, you can sit in a hole all day long. You don't want people around you, otherwise you're always busy off doing something. Talking to them, they want to rap, visit, they want to clean the room. Some of these guys that just make a living out of buffing the rooms and shining up the sinks because that's their life. Me, I don't care. If it's reasonably clean, that's good enough.
So
If somebody's already in prison, like right now in prison, and they've already agreed to be the slave, they've given their picture, they've given their prints, is there any way for them to turn that around?
Absolutely don't. Our contract's not dynamic.
Yes, they are.
A very famous maxim: as a thing is bound, so it is unbound. How did you get in there? You contracted in?
Volunteer.
Right. You contract out. The problem getting anybody out is, how do we teach them to talk? See, in here you can listen to me and have examples for hours and hours and hours and hammer the thought in. Can you imagine when a judge has got him? And he's asking him, let's say that we did his paperwork. He goes before the court. Judge is going to say, Mr. Or Mrs. Chung, I got your paperwork here. I don't really understand it. Can you explain it to me? The average guy is choked up. He might get to go out, and he's, well, what's he going to say? And in the prison system, like the feds, I have friends call me from there. They got 15-minute sound bites. That's it. How can you get? We talk for hours and hours just trying to hammer home a basic, simple little thing to you, and then back it up with 20 stories. How can I get that to him?
Your Honor, my paperwork speaks for me.
Is that a statement? See?
Your Honor, doesn't my paperwork speak for me?
No, it doesn't. I've got a question for you, Dan. I've got this paperwork here. I don't know what it means. He's going to trick him. And how do I get a guy in prison that doesn't know this stuff? Or worse yet, a patriot like Sue Taylor, who's got 20 years of this and got her mind made up, and I'm just... God, Juanita was there, man. This woman just would frustrate me. And she just asked these dumb questions over and over again. I say, listen to me. I finally have to say, I want to squeeze your scrawny little neck when I get you out, teasing with her. But she just asking these silly questions over and over. Well, why can't I say this? Why can't I? I said, can't you just listen to me? Your mantra, how can I help now? What if they ask this? How can I help now? What if they ask that? How can I help now? What if they want to know where I had some bank accounts? I said, tell them. But they might use it against me. And I thought you said only answer a question with a question. I said, yours is a special case. We're not taking that stand. When you're out, and if the IRS comes for you, we'll take that stand. But right now, we can't. Yours is going to introduce yourself this way, and you're going to answer all their questions as best you can. You're going to make a real effort, because that's what will get you out. But they might take and indict me or indict my friends. I said, I don't care about your friends. They already know where the money went. They know what you did. They just want to see if you're going to cooperate. That's all it's about. And that's all it was about.
So you're saying you had to coach her on visits to the jail?
No, I didn't go to the jail. Her boyfriend would go to the jail, and he'd be doing it too. And I said, you're going, not me. I'm telling you, Ron. And he could understand, but she's just real hard-headed. She's really a neat gal. She's hard-headed. Some of the patriots that got a lot of stuff in this, they're hard. I need you when you're like more open-minded and fresh or new, so you don't have all these preconceived ideas. The government's no good or some other dumb stuff.
They're against us.
Or they're against us. No, you've been told. We have seen the enemy, and it is
Us.
or you are your own worst what? Can't you just believe me when I tell you it's you, it's not them. They always do it right. Now either accept that or don't. And that's what I had to do with this woman. Stop. Just agree with me. If you want to go free, do exactly what I tell you to do.
She did.
When they accuse you of not giving the paperwork, not providing it, not doing this, say, how can I help now? And if they ask a question, answer it if you know it. Did you give this money to your daughter? Yes, they know. Why do you think they answered the question? They could see where the check went. They could see whose name the car went into. And I said, if you don't remember something, say, I don't recall. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't recall. Don't say on every question, though. Don't you dare. And she said, well, what if they asked me, did I give this $50,000 catalog to my daughter? I said, did you? He says, yes. I said, tell him you did. What's so hard about that? You think they don't see the chain of title? Of course they do. They don't ask any question, but that they know the answer to, don't they? Pretty much. So you're not. And I said, if they bring up the word income, just some few basics at Coaster, but getting her out was really a chore. I mean, Juanita was with me on an immersion run for like 4 days. The woman calls 2, 3 times, 4 times a day.
An interesting parallel to what you're saying is that Winston Shrout has done a lot of work with people in prison, and he claims that a lot of the design and experimentation of the administrative remedies have come from people who were in prison. So these are the ones like you who, once they found themselves in prison, have done all the studying and all the work. So
it's rather easy to do your administrative remedy, get an agreement with the warden to be out. Submit it to the court for contract enforcement or writ of habeas corpus based on your paper, but just how to stand on that. That's the part that all the rest of these guys are missing. And how can we teach a guy in prison? That's why I say it's so hard to get him out of prison. Because they got to do it. I can tell them how, but they got to do it. Because I believe they're going to get called into court. And they'll be able to refute them real easy. On top of that, what do you do when I do all the paperwork and you turn around and stand up at 4 o'clock count every day and they come and ask you and say, are you Dan the man, and you give your number like you normally do because you don't want any hassles or problems. You're afraid they're going to lock you up or while you're in the middle. It's a tough call. It's really tough. And without being able to talk to somebody and have a lengthy conversation, it's really tough. I tell them, I got 2 buddies that I used to train and teach, and man, they just, one of them, Doc, he's been doing legal work for a long time, but I told him, Doc, you have copies of my administrative process I used with the warden. Just copy it. And he changed a bunch of stuff in it. I said, man, what am I going to do with you? He says, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. I said, I know you don't. My buddy Johnny on the outside, he called the other day. He says, they sent me this. I said, you conditionally accept it upon condition or upon proof of claim that the record attached herewith, which is accepted, that has something. I said, did you do it? He said, well, I didn't send them the copies of the bond stuff to deliver. They already have it. I just referred to it. I says, I give up. You win. Well, what do you think? I said, I already told you 5 times. He said, well, I don't see why. I said, you're arguing with the wrong guy. If it's right for you, it's right for you. I said, I don't care, Johnny. I love you, but you're driving me batty. I told you what to do. Why do you ask me for advice and then don't take it? Well, I don't see what... I said, there's nothing wrong with it. But I said, if you run into problems, understand you couldn't listen to what I told you. He did. He's a polemist extraordinaire. He's my dear friend, and I love him, so I persevere, but he just won't do what I tell him to do. He wants to reword it, redo it this way. He's a grammarian. He says, I don't understand this. Upon proof of claim, that is not grammatically correct. I says, you know what, I don't care what you put. That's what I put. It works for me. And because I'm not a grammarian, I can't properly explain it in grammarian language, having a predicate and an adverb and attached to a double doppelganger off a adverb with a motive of an adjective. He can't. He's a grammarian. And he loves that stuff. And he knows it inside and out. I says, I can't explain it to you. I simply see that it makes sense to me upon proof of claim that. That's a complete sense to me. I conditionally accept your offer upon proof of claim that. He says, blah, blah. I said, look, I'm just telling you it is. I've had like 2 grammar arguments with him and brought Jack in, who's better at it than I am, and Jack overcame Johnny's. And I said, so I don't want to argue with him anymore about this stuff. And I don't care, because I told you I work with a lot of fuzzy logic. It just works. I know why it works. I'm not concerned with the rules of grammar as it relates to that, because it makes perfect sense. Like on a lot of my stuff, I say notice, private international remedy demand. But you got to say notice of. I said, no, I don't. And I see the stuff that the courts do it the same way too. I said, no, I don't. It's correct in that legal world. I can't tell you the reasons why. I just inherently know. And I used to drive him batty, because in the dictionary there's like 20 definitions for words, 10 of them. He goes, why do you choose that one? I said, because I just do. It's good enough. It makes sense to me. He said, well, I don't understand. I said, what do I care why you understand it? It works for me. Johnny, we win everything with it. I've won 3 of his IRS cases. I said, we've won everything. Why do you care? You go to the post office and win. You go down and get your driver's license by telling it. I said, why wouldn't you just do what I tell you to do? And used to teach. He's an airplane teacher, pilot trainer. And I said, you know, if a small plane gets in a spin going down, you're supposed to let go of the controls, foot pedals and hand, and the plane will right itself. That's a fact. I said, it's like me telling you, ain't no way. When you got to control a plane, you got to bring it out. You got to do this. He says, and I said, you know, and I know that the proper way when you're getting in a down spin is you let go of the controls and the plane will right itself. You can't explain why, but you just know that's the rule. I said, that's what I'm telling you. You can't accept it. So I said, keep your feet on the pedal and the rudders and all that stuff going down and try and right it. Just do what you got to do. I'm telling you this is what you better do, and if you don't do it, you may get a little rest that you didn't really want to take. Some free room and board and a little vacation.
Actually, if he looks at contracts and credit card agreements or anything like that, he'll find grammatical errors as well.
In all likelihood, but I mean, I don't even care. I deal with fuzzy logic. It doesn't matter. It's a fiction world anyway. Who cares if the grammar's correct anyhow? It's meant what I said to me.
English language is different 100 years ago and 200 years ago. It keeps changing too.
Law doesn't, but yes, the actual language, you know, common parlance, yeah, it changes all in this and that. And so anyway, the long and the short of it is I tend to deal a little bit of fuzzy logic, yes and no. I'm pretty exacting about certain things. But in reality, I know that you're given some latitude in court. And if they don't answer it anyway, it's what you agreed to anyhow. The weight goes over to you. I'm making a claim. They're not making any claim. They haven't answered the stuff. So it really, in that sense, doesn't matter. Let's not worry about having it exact. I got, you know, Juanita's a prime example. If I want that exact and this exact and that. I says, you sound. I'm laughing because I used to be that same way, thinking that made a difference, and so I don't mind if she does it. But she wants it just exact in every word, you know. I used to be that way because I thought that would make a difference. I wanted it centered on the envelope, and this just, I would just like really, and now I just slap it on there. They say, it doesn't matter, it got nothing to do with anything, you know. Some guys say, oh man, I forgot this. I said, don't worry, it's not going to make any difference in the document. We're not going to bother changing it. Well, I don't, you know, I got one buddy who just will redo the whole thing over. I used to be that way. I don't even worry about it. I prefer to have it as perfect as I can get it, but at a point, I ain't got time for this. I got to get this thing filed today now. I could sit here and fix it and refix it more and more, you know.
That's with a lot of stuff.
So anyway, nonetheless.
Hey, when you're attaching stuff to, say, a document or something, I heard you can't staple it because a staple is not binding everything together.
Sure, you can staple it.
Okay.
You know, there's some, when you go get an apostille
Yeah.
from the Secretary of State's office, notarizing the notary, you don't mess with pulling those staples out or pulling that
Okay, because when I
stuff out.
sent stuff into them, nothing was stapled. So when they sent me a thing back saying, well, we thought it was all one contract. What do you want us to do with this, you idiot? Well, I don't know. You guys, I thought you guys were experts. But they weren't stapled together, or they weren't bound together as one. Each contract was separate. Because I had 3 notaries and things on it.
It's a paperclip.
Yeah, it depends on where you're doing what you're sending to, you know.
Yeah.
How and why. I send my stuff into a court a certain way and do things a certain way. But in reality, it's most of the time doesn't matter.
So the stapling together of something.
I tell all my guys, you know, when I file in courts, I don't staple anything. That way they can just copy it the way they need to copy it without that. All I want to do is stamp the caption said anyway. All the exhibits are noted in the deal.
So paperclip a bunch of stuff.
You could if you want. I don't even paper clip it. I just slip it all together.
How do you spell apostille? A-P-O-S-T-I-L?
Well, it's actually, I think, it's spelled both ways. It is spelled with a single L and a double L both. They give two spellings for apostille. Excuse me, it's with 2 P's and a single P. A-P-O-S-T-I-L-L-E or A-P-P-O-S-T-I-L-L-E.
And all that does is says the Secretary of State is saying that notary.
An addition, a marginal note or observation, a standard certification provided under the Hague Convention of 1961 for purpose of authenticating documents for use in foreign countries. So when you go get, I have a notary document, and I sent a notary in California, and I send it up to the Secretary of State California for notarizing, right? At the UCC division, or get an apostille on it. It's good in the 50 states now. Those are foreign countries. If I want to domesticate it in Canada, I'll go to Washington City and have the big apostille put on it, and it'll now be good in Canada. And I can go. So if you were you're Canadian, Dan, let's say you rip me off, I might send you a whole bunch, a 3-part process from here. You ignore all of them. I'll get a lien against you. I'll put it on a UCC one here. I'll get an apostille on it. Go to Washington City, get it done there, and then I'll file it on your UCC up there in Canada, and it's in. And all of a sudden, you find you got a lien on you as though it was done and happened right there in Canada. That's what that's about.
Washington City, you mean D.C.?
Washington City, which is D.C. Yeah, there's an actual entity there called Washington City that provides an apostille too. It's all these entities around, you know.
It's within the district.
Huh?
Within the district.
Uh-huh. And it's like a big gold seal. It's like $142.